My name is Anthony Stacy. If you remember from my introduction video, I showed you all a brief thing of my African cichlid tank. I just wanted to let you know that this is what I'm going to do my demonstration on today. As you can see, I've done a couple things different to the tank and got a couple different fish. There's many types of African cichlids. You have Mbanas, they're all from Africa, which is mostly what's in my tank. This guy here, the bigger one, is the newest one. He's called a bluegill giraffe. You have just a regular African cichlid. The guys here is a convict. And then you just got a couple peacocks, which are also cichlids, which are all from Africa. A couple things you need in order to do a cleaning. This is an aquarium vacuum. It has a valve and it puts off just a little bit of a suction, enough to lift the rocks but not suck them up so you can get all the sediment from underneath. You need aquarium salt to replenish the salt after you take the water out. The salt doesn't evaporate, so the only time you add it back is when you actually take water out of the tank to do a water change. You also need a dechlorinator. This is the one I like to use. It uses the best and you use less of it. So this is the one I recommend. And also from Pet Supermarket, where I get a lot of my information in this area. It's also recommended by them. Just a regular household sponge to wipe down the walls and the side of your aquarium when you're doing it. And that's the first thing you do when you start cleaning your aquarium, is wipe everything down. That way when you're sucking water out, you are sucking some dirty water out. But the very first thing you do is you turn everything off. I have everything here on a switch. So you turn everything off, kind of set the bigger stuff out of your way so you can get into your tank. I like to take my lids off also. Just be careful if you got glass lids because they hold water. So you want to drip the water off of them for a sec. And that gives you pretty good access in order to get inside and wipe the walls down. And just make sure this is a clean sponge. You don't want to put any kind of chemicals into your tank. And then you just kind of gently wipe the walls down. It kind of breaks all the algae loose that's on the tank walls. Just be careful if your tank's full, you don't splash water everywhere. And you're going to do this to all the walls due to time constraints. I'm just going to do a little bit. I'll finish the rest later. But you want to hit all the parts inside to do so. And then after you get done with that, you take the vacuum. It has a valve inside of it to start the suction on the water. So you press it down under and you lift it up and you'll see the water start going through, and then you put it back underneath and it continues to suction. And you can see when I do this how it lifts the rocks and rolls them, but it does not suck the rocks up. It just sucks the stuff out from underneath the rocks. So as you can see, it's pulling all the sediment out but not the rocks. And the biggest reason to do this, and most important, especially in an African cichlid tank, is you got to keep their pH balance good. They like their pH running a little higher than most tanks. Most tanks run in the 7 range. An African cichlid tank is going to run in the 8. These are an aggressive fish, so you can't mix many fish with them. Actually, at the Petco on Wells Road and Blanding Boulevard, they got a very good person that knows a lot about cichlids in there. That's where I got my information from. But you pretty much just want to take this and go through all the rocks. I'll lift all the big rocks up later and go underneath them, but again, for time constraints, I'm just going to show you a little bit of a demonstration and get some of it done. So the biggest thing is you want to turn everything off, that way you don't burn your pumps up, because obviously you're taking water out of the tank, so therefore your pumps will be sucking dry and you won't be able to burn them up because there's no water to go through. But as you get your bucket full, obviously don't put more water in the bucket than what you can lift to go and empty it. Now they do have different versions of this vacuum, and when you get enough water, just pull it out and obviously it'll stop. You can just leave it sitting in the tank. They have different versions of this. They have more expensive versions. You can go and they have one that's long enough to run to your sink, and it has another part to where you can hook it up to your faucet, and when it's time to fill up, you can just turn the water on and put it back in here. The biggest thing is when you do add the water back in, make sure that you don't put it in too hot or too cold. The water temperature in here runs around 68 to 70 degrees is what they prefer. And obviously, you're just going to use regular tap water. You dump this out. You want to do about a 20% water change, so I'll do a couple more buckets. And then you add the recommended dosage of this into the bucket, fill the tank back up, turn everything back on, and you've done a successful water change on an African Cichlid tank. Again, my name is Anthony Stacy. Thank you very much.